Okay, just a few more thoughts, if you'll permit me, on this new Halloween movie thing. I've had a day or two to sit with it, and also check out some other reviews online that actually filled in a few things for me that I didn't totally grok when I first saw the movie, particularly the Doctor subplot. I didn't realize at the time that I guess he was behind everything. I guess that was the thing. Dr. Sartain. Um, Orchestrated the transfer and the podcasters showing up and yada yada yada. This does fill in a few plot holes. Um, Again, to me, it still feels like he was written because they had to figure out a way around these plot holes. And the way the film suffers for this particular choice, in my humble opinion, is we're bringing in a secondary villain. One that feels maybe a little too close to Hannibal Lecter for my tastes. Um, and it's an equivalent to bringing in the Man in Black in the other Halloween timeline. It just kind of clutters things up. It takes focus off of Michael. It makes him seem, he and Laurie, it makes them both seem less driving of the plot. So this one character sets the plot in motion and then gets killed, and the two that had nothing to do with it are left to kind of fight to the death and finish it off, and it just feels weird. It feels incomplete. It feels like, honestly, to me, I've heard this. I've heard this phrase before when I've tried to write my own horror treatments for scripts that had too many plot elements. Horror is a straight line, and for me, I think either one of these plot threads, Laurie and the dysfunctional relationship with her family due to her PTSD, or Laurie and her relationship with the actual new Loomis, who is apparently every bit as evil as Michael. Either one of those would have been a great primary focus for the film, and the sole focus, like the sole plot thread. Um, I'm not saying that subplots can't work, but in material that is as simple as this and designed to be as simple as the stuff is, you can really start to clutter up the too much plot getting in the way of the story. These kind of horror films are very much about simplicity, and John Buechler in the commentary for Friday the 13th Part 7 seemed so proud of himself to have this is the first Friday the 13th with a subplot. Maybe there's a reason that the ones before didn't have subplots. This shit is supposed to be simple. Barbecue. There's your subplot. So yeah, I don't think, for me, he wouldn't have worked even if he was the sole focus. It would have been an interesting story, kind of pitting pitting Laurie against maybe both Michael and this doctor. But it would have felt just it feels better keeping it in the family. And what they did with the family stuff, it comes the closest in the movie to working. A lot of it does work. And I'm going to go ahead and retroactively, I forgot all about the gotcha moment in the basement with Judy Greer. That was a fucking fantastic moment. That worked completely. And another theme that I didn't talk about that I thought was interesting in my previous videos was that in the trailers, obviously it's set up to be Laurie is the new Loomis. But in the actual film, they play with an even more interesting idea, which is Laurie is the new Michael. It's most obviously stated, really, really well stated, in that one shot of Laurie's granddaughter sitting in class and Laurie watching her from across the street. That was fucking great. And also that she has become, she's in what is initially seen to be her own prison before the dialogue go ahead and spells out the subtext for us in the third act. That she is in her own institution, quietly waiting, for 20 years, just like Michael. I love that. And it would have been interesting if they had explored that a little bit more. Like, has the past 40 years of living with this trauma and being obsessed with revenge, has it turned Laurie into something less than human? Is she in danger of becoming less than human? I never really felt like that was an issue for her. She was always like the protagonist, and she's the badass. She's the Sarah Connor Terminator 2. And Yeah, she plays the material as well as she possibly can. If she had been given a little bit more, that's another reason why the goddamn open ending is so frustrating, because even an open ending should have some closure with the thematic elements of its plot threads. Michael can definitely get away. I have no problem with that. But perhaps some resolution on whether, like, that Laurie has made the choice to get on with her life finally. Whether she's able to or not is a different story. But there's that lack of closure. Just everything feels unresolved. I also forgot to mention the boyfriend character, who seems to exist in the film only to help the granddaughter get rid of her cell phone, and then he disappears from the plot completely. Just like Ted in Friday the 13th Part 2. What the fuck, people? Um, yeah, yeah, unresolved. Unresolved, unfocused, undeveloped. You know, that is where I am going to conclude. Is that all I have to say? Yes, yes, it is. Okay, thanks for bearing with me. And I genuinely hope you enjoyed the film. I feel your pain if you did not. Happy Halloween.